Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today the subject of my lecture is the use of a little, a few and little few. Moreover, I will also discuss the use of definite article, that is the or the. First of all, let's have a look at a little and little, or you can say differences between a little and differences between a few and a few. A little and little can be adjectives and they are used before uncountable nouns. For example, a little salt, or you can also say little salt. And salt is uncountable noun, so you can use a little and little before uncountable nouns. Whereas a few and few adjectives are used before plural nouns. All right, or you can also say that they can be used before plural countable nouns, a few people, etc. All four forms can also be used as pronouns, either alone or with, of. For example, they can be used as pronouns. They can be used either alone or with something else as well. For example, if you say sugar, you will say a little please. If you want sugar, you will say sugar a little please. Not you will not say like a sugar a few please. This that would be wrong, all right? Because sugar is uncountable noun. Only a few of these are any good. Here you are using a few with of, all right? You can also use a little or a few alone. You can also use them with of. Use number B, a little and a few. They can be adjectives and they can be pronouns as well. They will be adjective when they will quantify, when they will qualify a noun or pronoun, all right? And they will be pronouns when they will be used instead of nouns. A little is a small amount or what the speaker considers a small amount, whereas a few is a small number or what the speaker considers a small number. All right. There is a difference between amount and number. All right. Only placed before a little and a few emphasizes that the number or amount really small in the speaker's opinion. When you put opinion before a little and a few, it implies that in the speakers according to the speaker's point of view, the amount or the number is very small or is quite small. For example, if you say only a few of our customers have accounts, so here only a few does mean very few, all right? Very few in number. But quite place before a few increases the number considerably. If you use quite before a few, it increases the number considerably. For example, I have quite a few books on art. Quite a few books does mean many books, quite a lot of books. All right. When you use only before a few or a little, it shows that the amount or number is really small. But if you use quite before a few, it shows that the number is considerably high. It increases the number. All right. Here you have seen the example. Use number C. Little and few. They can also be adjectives and pronouns. Little and few denote scarcity or lack and have almost the force of a negative. All right. They show scarcity or lack of something, or they can even show the force of a negative. For example, if you say there was little time for consultation, here little time shows that scarcity of time. There was lack of time. There was almost no time at all. Little is known about the side effects of this drug. Again, this little shows scarcity, a lack of something. Few towns have such splendid trees. Here, few towns has mean the towns are only a few number. They are very low in number. This use of little and few is mainly confined to written English, of course, but because in conversation you confuse little few with a little and a few, all right? You can interchangeably use them, but uh, in conversation therefore little and few they are normally replaced by hardly any, all right? When you speak English you usually use hardly any instead of using little and few. A negative verb plus much or many is also possible. If you use negative verb along with much and many, this is also possible. For example, we saw little. If you saw, you can also write it like this: we saw hardly anything. And you can also write it like this: we didn't see much. All right, this is negative verb plus much, right? Tourists came here, but few stayed overnight. And you can also write it like this: tourists came here, but hardly any stay overnight. Uh, but little and few can be used more freely when they're qualified by so, very, too, extremely, etc. Comparatively, relatively, etc. Fewer comparative can also be used more freely. Of course, few, little and few they can be used more freely when they are specifically qualified by adverbs like so, very, too, etc. I'm unwilling to try a drug I know so little about. All right, so here you can freely use little because it has already been qualified by an adverb like this. They have too many technicians. We have too few. All right, few and too few. When you're using too few, does mean very few. There are fewer butterflies every year. Here, this is a comparative form of few. Use number D. A little and little as adverbs. A little can be used with verbs with unfavorable adjectives and adverbs, with comparative adjectives or adverbs. Let's have a look at the use of a little with adverbs. It rained a little. Here, this rained is a verb, and a little can be used with a verb. It rained a little during the night. Here, little is being used with unfavorable adjectives and adverbs. For example, if you say a little anxious, all right, this is adjective, and you can use a little with an adjective: a little annoyed, a little unwillingly, a little impatiently. So here they are adverbs and they are adjectives, unfavorable adjectives and adverbs. And a little can be used with comparative adjectives or adverbs as well. For example, the paper should be a little thicker. All right, a little thicker. Can't you walk a little faster? Here, faster and thicker, they are comparative adjective and adverb. Rather could replace a little in B. Here in B, rather can also replace a little. All right, because rather is also used before unfavorable adjectives and adverbs. All right, and I have also told you in the class that rather can be used before unfavorable adjectives and adverbs, and fairly can be used before favorable adjectives and adverbs. All right. So here you can also replace a little with especially in this case, in case number B, you can replace a little with rather. Though a little is more usual in colloquial English, a bit could be used instead of a little in all the above examples. If you're speaking something, if you are in your colloquial English, in conversation, you can use a bit instead of a little or a few, etc. Case number two. Little is used chiefly with better or more in fairly formal style. His, for example, his second suggestion was little better than his first. All right. So here, little is used with better in this example. And in this example, little can be used with more. He was little more than a child when his father died. Little more mean not much more than a child. All right. And in this example, little also means not much. It can also in formal English be placed before certain verbs, for example, expect, know, suspect, think, etc. So it can also be used before certain verbs. For example, he little expected to find himself in prison. He little thought that one day, etc. Blah blah blah. All right. So here, little can be used before verbs, before certain verbs. It cannot always be used before verbs. All right, but it can be used sometime before certain verbs. What sort of verbs they are? The verbs like expect, know, suspect, think, etc. He little expected to find himself in prison. He little thought that one. Note also the adjectives little known and little used. So they are also little can also be used with adjectives like as adjectives like little known, little used, etc. A little known painter, a little used footpath, etc. So now let's move our attentions toward the use of definite article, the. Use number A, the is the same for singular and plural and for all genders. All right, you can use it for all the genders and for singular and plurals as well. The girl, the girls, the day, the days, etc. Use number B, the definite article is used when the object or group of objects is unique or considered to be unique. All right, when the object or when the group of objects are unique, you can use the before them. For example, the sky is unique, the sea is unique, the earth is unique, the equator, the star, they're unique, so you can use the before them. The can be used before a noun which has become definite as a result of being mentioned a second time. All right, so you can use the before that noun in which it has been made definite because of a second use, because of using the second time the same sentence. For example, in this sentence, we are using tree for two times. So for the when we will use tree for the second time, so this tree will become the definite. It will become definite, so you will use the before it. His car struck a tree. Here we have already used tree for once. His car struck a tree. You can still see the mark on the tree. All right. When you are using the tree again in the same sentence, you are making it definite, so you will use the before it. Use number three. Before a noun made definite by the addition of a phrase or clause. So you can also use the before a noun which has been made definite. Right? How this noun has been made definite by the addition of a phrase or a clause. For example, the girl. This is a noun. Girl is a noun, and you are making it definite by adding a phrase. This prepositional phrase here, the girl in blue. All right, so you are making the girl definite by adding a phrase here. The man with the banner, so again you are making this man uh, definite by adding a phrase here. The boy that I met, again you are adding a clause here, and you are making boy definite, so you are using the before definite noun. Again in this example, you are also adding a clause and making this place a definite noun and using the before it. Before a noun which by reason of locality can represent only one particular thing, so you can also use the before uh, for some locality, for some place. Why and that locality can represent only one particular thing. For example, Anne is in the garden. So in the garden shows that the garden of this house, that house, etc. Please pass the wine. The wine does mean the wine on the table, the wine you are referring to. You are making that wine one particular thing, not any wine. All right. When you say please pass the wine, it does mean that wine which you are pointing to, which you are referring to. No, it doesn't mean that any wine. Similarly, the postman, the one who comes to us, the car, our car, the newspaper, the one we read. So when you are using the before such nouns, so you are making them one particular thing. Next use before the can be used before superlatives and first, second, etc. And it can be used as adjectives or pronouns and all, and it can be used as adjectives or pronouns and only. For example, if you say the first week, the best day, the only day, etc. So the can be used before such superlatives and first, second, etc. But especially when first, second are used as adjectives and are pronouns. The plus singular noun can represent a class of animals or things. All right, when you use the plus a singular noun, it can represent a whole class of animals or things. If you say the whale is in danger here, in danger, so it does mean the whale, the whole class of whale, the fish, of course, the whole class of it. You're not only referring to one whale here. So when you are using the plus a singular noun, it can represent the whole class of animal or the things. Here, the deep freeze has made life easier. Or outside here, the deep freeze does mean the all the deep freeze in general. But man used to represent the human race is has no article. You do not use this rule for the man as well. If while supplies run out, man may have to fall back on the horse. Here you are not using the man may have to fall back on the horse, because the man will not represent a whole class of human beings. Like we represented the whole class of animals or things with the help of the plus singular noun. We can represent the whole class of animals or things with the help of the plus singular noun, but we cannot represent the whole class of human beings with the help of the plus man. All right. Before man, you will not use the in this structure. The can be used before a member of a certain group of people. Of course, it can be used before certain before a member of certain group of people, like the small shopkeeper. And the plus singular noun used about takes a singular a noun as used about takes a singular verb. The pronoun is he, she, or it. For example, if you use the plus singular noun uh, as you use it in the case number C, so it can be used in this way as well. For example, the first class traveler pays more, so he expects some comfort. All right. So when you use the plus singular noun, uh, it will take a singular verb like this. For example, the first class traveler pays. So of course, this first class traveler shows the whole class of traveler. All right. But it takes singular noun like this. Here you will not say the first class traveler pay, you will say pays, because it will be considered as a singular noun here. And you will also follow it with pronoun like this: he expects some comfort, or she expects some comfort, or it, etc. You will not say they. All right, you will not say we or they here, because the plus singular noun, it will take it will always take a singular verb, and it will take a singular pronoun as well. Next case, the plus adjective represents a class of persons. For example, the old here mean the old people in general. It represents the whole class of people, whole class of persons. The is used before certain proper names of seas, rivers, group of islands, chains of mountains, plural names of countries, deserts, regions, etc. Right here are the examples. And before certain other names like these, the is used before names consisting of noun plus of plus noun. All right. So the can be used before names, especially such names consisting of noun plus of plus noun. All right. The Bay of Biscay, the Gulf of Mexico, the United States. So here this is noun plus of plus noun. The bay is noun plus of plus noun. So in this structure, the can be used before this structure. All right. The Cape of Good Hope, the United States of America, etc. The is used before names consisting of adjective plus noun, provided the adjective is not east west. All right. So the can also be used before such names consisting of adjective plus noun. For example, the Arabian Gulf, the New Forest, the High Street. Here, Arabian is adjective. It's a name, um, and it's a name, and this is noun, and this is adjective, and this is noun. This is um, adjective, and this is noun. So that can be used before the structure like this: adjective plus noun. All right. And that adjective plus noun structure should consist of names. For example, Arabian Gulf is here, this is name. New Forest, this is name. High Street, this is name. And same is the case with these examples. The Gulf of Mexico here, Gulf of Mexico, they are names. All right. But there is an exception in the use here, that these adjectives should not be east or west. All right, they should be something else, right? And the is used before the adjectives east, west, etc. plus noun in certain names. Of course, it can also be used before uh, east, west as adjective plus noun as well. For example, the east or west end, the east or west Indies, the north or south pole, etc. What is normally omitted, you will not use the before these names. The South Africa, the North Africa, it would be wrong, right? You will simply write South Africa or North America or West Germany, etc. The, however, is used before east or west, etc. when these are noun. When east and west are used as noun, the can be used before them. The west, the north of Spain. Here, this north is noun. The Middle East, etc. And here, east is noun. Compare go north, adverb in the northerly direction. with he lives in the north. So he lives in the north. In this, north is an area, and uh, north is a noun here, right? The is used before other names, other proper names consisting of adjectives plus noun or noun plus or plus noun. So, of course, the can be used with some other before some other proper names like this: the National Gallery, the Tower of London, etc. It is also used before names of choirs, orchestras, pop groups, etc. For example, the Back Choir, the Philadelphia Orchestra, etc. And before names of newspapers like the Times and Ships, the Great Britain, etc. The with names of people has a very limited use, right? The cannot be used before the names of people, but it can sometimes be used, and it has a very limited use. For example, the plus plural surname can be used to mean the family. All right, you can use the plus plural surname. Surname does mean second name. For example, if you say, if Mr. Smith is a person and Mr. is the first name and Smith is the second name, and you make that Smith plural by adding s, and you also use the before that. If you use the before that, the Smiths, so it would not only mean only Smith, all right? It would mean Mr. and Mrs. Smith and their children as well. All right. If you use a surname, a second name of any person, by making it plural, and you also use the before that, it would mean that Mr. and Mrs. Smith and children, or Mr. and Mr. Toms and their children, etc. You can use it before any other name by making that name plural, by making that surname plural. The plus singular name plus class phrase can be used to distinguish one person from another of the same name. We have two, for example, we have two Mr. Smiths. Which one do you want? Here, one is missing. It should be like this. Which one do you want? I want the Mr. Smith who signed this letter. Here you are using the Mr. Smith before a name. Why? Because you want to distinguish one person from another of the same name. The is used before titles containing of the Duke of York, but it is not used before other titles or ranks. So you can use it before the titles containing of the Duke of York, etc. And the titles like these. But you cannot always use the before the titles uh, uh, if the titles contain some ranks like this: Lord Olivier Captain Cook. You cannot use the Captain Cook. You will simply say that the captain ordered, the captain said, the Earl expected. All right. You will not say like the Earl Smith said. All right. Just you will simply say the Earl expected, and you will not say the captain Tom ordered. You will simply say the captain ordered. Letters written to two or more unmarried sisters jointly may be addressed. So if you're writing letter to two or more unmarried sisters, you can jointly address them like this: the Mrs. plus their surname. If they are Smith, so you can say the Mrs. Smith, because you are saying Mrs. Why? Because you are jointly writing something to two unmarried sisters. Thank you very much for watching this. If you have any question, please do ask me in the comments below.